Welcome to day 1 of the Back to Basics 5-day all-standing yoga challenge that allows you to discover or rediscover the basics of popular standing poses with a beginner's mindset. This class avoids going upside down, so stay tuned to learn how to get your free guide on how to modify yoga poses to stay head over heart. Let's start at the top of the mat in Tadasana, mountain pose. Feet parallel, hip width apart. Arms by your sides, palms forward. Lightly engage your lower abdominals and align your shoulders to line up with your ears. Take a few deep breaths. Moving through 2 half sun salutations. Inhale the arms overhead, Hasta Tadasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. This is traditionally a bend forward, but to stay inversion free, bend the knees as deeply as you can and reach your fingers towards the mat. It's okay to stick your tail out. Inhale, lift halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Straighten the legs, long spine, hands touch the thighs. Exhale, Uttanasana, rebend the legs. Inhale, reverse swan dive, Hasta Tadasana. Exhale, hands pressed together at the heart center. Once again. Inhale the arms overhead, Hasta Tadasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana, bending the knees deeply. Inhale, lift halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana, straightening the legs. Exhale, Uttanasana, bend the knees deeply. Inhale, reverse swan dive, Hasta Tadasana. Exhale, hands to the heart center. Shift your weight into your right foot as you lift the other heel and find your balance. Lift the left thigh as high as you can to manage without disturbing your balance. It doesn't matter if it's a couple centimeters or a couple feet. Do what you can right now. If the foot is airborne, flex the ankle. And just checking, are you breathing? Make sure to do that every once in a while, okay? Soften your standing knee and take a big step back into Warrior 1. Outwardly rotate the back leg to your natural rotation while keeping the hips as square to the front of your mat as possible and engage the lower belly. Front knee tracks over the center of the foot and you're looking for a 90-degree angle even if it doesn't get there today. Hands can go on your waist, stay at your heart center, or you can extend them up by your ears, fingers touching or not. I will always give you options so you can experiment to see what feels the best for you. If you feel wobbly in this pose, check your heel to heel alignment. You may have the back heel too far over your center line. Ideally, we want either the back heel to align with the front one or a wider stance. Once you're settled, breathe in stillness. Allow your mind and body to process the position. How does it feel? Where do you feel it? What thoughts are popping up? Take this time to observe without judgment. Observe to learn what works and what doesn't. Next, we'll move into Parsvottanasana, intense side stretch pose or pyramid pose. Hop the back foot forward about a stride so there's about 3 feet or 1 meter of space between your heels. Back leg is still outwardly rotated, same heel alignment as Warrior 1. Hands to the waist. Big inhale to lengthen out of your waist. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips and keeping the hips square to the front of your mat. Hands can rest gently on your thigh above the knee if you're inversion free. By the way, if you're avoiding going upside down in yoga, I've created a system to modify possible inversions like this one. If you're into it, a link is in the comments for more info. If you're not inversion free, rest your hands where they could reach without pain, but never on your knee joint. Parsvottanasana targets the back of the front leg, hamstrings, and calves, as well as the glutes. You'll get some core work here as well since the lower belly is pulled up and in to support the low back. Now, if you feel pain in your lower back, you may be too far forward or rounding the back too much. Try coming up a little for relief. Look for a healthy stretch here. We never want to move into pain. That defeats the purpose of doing yoga in the first place. On your next inhale, come up to vertical. As you exhale, shift your weight forward into the front foot for tree pose and bring the other leg with you. Without disturbing the hips, outwardly rotate the left leg or your floating leg. Find a connection of the foot to the inner leg where you feel balanced and sturdy. This could mean the foot connects by the ankle with the toes on the mat. It could be up on the calf muscle, or it could mean above the knee joint. Press the foot into your leg. This action relieves the hip flexor from holding up the leg on its own. Now, keep in mind, we never want the foot connected at the knee joint in tree pose. Knees are important joints to keep healthy, and because they are quite vulnerable, putting pressure on them from the sides can weaken them. The hands can be pressed at your heart center, on your waist, or for extra challenge, lift them overhead without disturbing the rib cage. Keeping the spine as tall as possible is important in all poses, but in this pose, it's essential for balance. Oh, yeah, and breathe. You are still breathing, right? If your arms are extended upwards, bring them back to prayer at your heart center. Take a big step back to Warrior Two. Warrior Two is an open hip pose, meaning the hip bones face the side edge of your mat. This is a wider stance than Warrior One, but here the back leg is rotated inward. Basically, the knee and toe face the side edge of your mat. Heel alignment is similar. Either align the heels or bring the back heel closer to the edge of the mat in front of you. The front leg stays pointing to the front edge of your mat, and the knees track over the center of the foot. And again, you're looking for a 90-degree angle in that front leg. No worries if it's not there, just know that's where it's going. Hands can stay on your waist, press together at your heart center, or extend them out to your sides at shoulder height, palms down. Stay for another breath. Bring the hands to your waist. Straighten the leg and rotate your toes to face the back of your mat. Then step to the back of your mat into Tadasana Mountain Pose, feet parallel, hip width apart. Now for the second side. But first, 2 half sun salutations. Inhale the arms overhead, Hasta Tadasana. Exhale, fold forward, bending those knees, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana, straighten the legs. Exhale, rebend the legs, Uttanasana. Inhale, reverse swan dive, Hasta Tadasana. Exhale, hands to the heart center. And again. Inhale the arms overhead, Hasta Tadasana. Exhale, fold forward, bending the knees, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana, straighten the legs. Exhale, bend the knees, Uttanasana. Inhale, reverse swan dive, sweeping those arms overhead, Hasta Tadasana. Exhale, hands to the heart center. Shift your weight into your left foot as you lift the other heel and find your balance. Lift the right thigh as high as you can manage without disturbing your balance. Remember, the height of the leg doesn't matter. Do what you can right now. If the foot is airborne, flex the ankle. I'm checking in again. Are you breathing? Soften your standing knee and take a big step back into Warrior One. Please know that each side of the pose has its own story to tell. So if any of the poses feel different on the second side, it's 100% okay and normal. Back leg is outwardly rotated to your natural rotation while keeping the hips as square to the front of your mat as possible and engage the lower belly. Check your heel to heel alignment. Make any adjustments with the back foot as your front foot is your anchor. Front knee is looking for 90 degrees and tracks over the center of the foot. Hands can go on your waist, stay at your heart center, or extend them up by the ears, fingers touching or not. Once you're settled, breathe in stillness. Allow your mind and body to process the position on this side. How does it feel? Where do you feel it? What thoughts are popping up? Take this time to observe without judgment. Next, we'll move into Parsvottanasana, aka intense side stretch pose or pyramid pose. Hop the back foot forward about a stride so there's about 3 feet or 1 meter of space between the heels. Back leg is still outwardly rotated and the heel alignment is still similar as Warrior One. Hands to the waist. Big inhale to lengthen out of the waist. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips and keeping the hips square to the front of your mat. Hands can gently rest on your thigh above the knee if you're inversion free. If not, rest your hands where they can reach without pain, but never on your knee joint. Parsvottanasana targets the back of the front leg, hamstrings, calves, and the glutes. Enjoy the core work here as well, since the lower belly is engaged to support your lower back. And if you do feel pain in your lower back on this side, try coming up a little to help relieve it. On your next inhale, come up to vertical. As you exhale, shift your weight forward into the front foot for tree pose and bring the other leg with you. Without disturbing the hips, outwardly rotate the right thigh or your floating leg. Find a connection of the foot to the inner leg where you feel balanced. Around the ankle, on the calf muscle, or help it up above the knee, avoiding the joint. Then actively press the foot into your leg. Breathe. Press your hands at your heart center, on your waist, or for extra challenge, lift them overhead without disturbing your rib cage. Stay nice and tall through the spine. If your arms are extended upwards, bring them back to prayer at your heart center. Take a big step back to Warrior Two. Hips open to the side edge of your mat, back leg inwardly rotated. Front leg stays pointing to the front edge of your mat and the knee tracks over the center of the foot. Again, you're looking for 90-degree angle in that front leg. Hands can stay on your waist, press together at your heart center, or extend them to your sides at shoulder height, palms down. Stay for another breath. Bring the hands to your waist. Straighten the leg and rotate your toes to face the side edge of your mat for goddess pose. Heels are just wider than hip width, and both legs are at your natural rotation. Bend the legs and bring your hands to your thighs just above the knees for an inner thigh stretch and some spinal twist action. Take an inhale. Exhale, twist to your left, bringing the right shoulder forward. Inhale through center. Exhale, twist to your right. Inhale through center. Take each side a few more times on your own breath pattern. Don't worry if we don't match up. It's more important to follow your own breath than to stay in sync with me. Take each side one more time. Once in neutral, come up to standing and step the feet under the hips for Tadasana. Instead of Shavasana, corpse pose, the reclined resting pose, you can stay standing or have a seat if that's more comfortable for you. Bring one hand to your heart and the other to your belly. Let your eyes close and just breathe here. Keep your focus on where you feel the breath moving in your body. You may feel it anywhere along the pathway of the air moving in and out. When you find that spot, keep your mind's eye focused on it and observe the natural movement it provides. When your mind wanders, and it will, that's what minds do, gently, with kindness, bring yourself back to your breath. If you have more time and want to stay here longer, please do. If not, start to deepen your breath and bring your awareness back to the room you're in. Spend a few moments here to check in with how you feel after this practice. How do you feel physically? mentally, emotionally, energetically, and spiritually. Take a moment for some gratitude. What are you grateful for in this moment and why? Thank you so much for practicing with me. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste. Avoiding going upside down in your yoga classes? Tired and frustrated of sitting on the sidelines where everyone else gets their yoga fix? If you've lost your zest for yoga because going upside down gets in the way, you're not alone. Avoid common mistakes that are made when staying head over heart to accelerate your transformation. Click the link in the comments to learn more and to get my free guide on how to modify common poses.